Hi class, it's Mrs. Guzman. Today we're going to work on multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So we'll start here with addition of unit fractions. I know that 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 is 3/8. I can also represent that as 3 times 1/8, or 3 times 1 over 8, or 3/8. So let's look at a whole number multiplied by a non-unit fraction. So 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6 is equal to 6/6. Or we could say 2/6 times 3, or 2 times 3 over 6 equals 6/6. We also know that 6/6 equals 1 whole. Sometimes we need to draw a model to make sense of a problem. So 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 equals 9/4, or 3/4 times 3 equals 3 times 3 over 4, or 9/4. You should be able to represent your problem pictorially as well. So let's look at an example that could actually happen in real life. A crepe recipe calls for 3/4 cup of flour. A bread recipe calls for 4 times this much flour. How much flour is in the bread recipe? So we know we have 3/4 cup of flour, and they need 4 times as much. So we're going to solve by saying 3 times 4 over 4, or 12/4. Remember before we learned that when the numerator is larger than the denominator, we need to divide. So 12 divided by, because this always means divided by, 4 is 3. So we need 3 cups of flour. Remember that it's really important that we say what it is that we need, because if I just write the number 3, I could need 3 birds, but we need 3 cups of flour. Be specific. So let's look at another real-world situation where we might want to use fractions. So here's Penciled Penguin having a problem with his homework. It says, I have so much homework. I have assignments in math, science, and reading. I think each subject will take 1/2 of an hour. I tried to multiply to find the total time. 3 times 1/2 equals 3/6. That can't be right. I know 3/6 is the same as 1/2, so that's only half an hour. What did I do wrong? How long will my homework really take? So if we look at what Penciled Penguin has done here, we notice that he is not multiplying 3 times 1/2, because that would be the same as 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, right? And he came up with 3/6. So we should be saying 1/2 times 3, or 3 over 2. The numerator is greater than the denominator, so we divide. 2 goes into 3 one time, with 1 left over, or 1/2. So it should take him 1.5 hours. Now does that make sense? Let's look back and let's see. He has math, science, and reading. 1/2 hour, 1/2 hour, 1/2 hour equals 1.5 hours. Yes, it does make sense. What I need you to do whenever you're looking at problems like this is to go back and think, does the answer make sense? If it doesn't make sense, go back and recalculate. I hope that helps you to understand how to multiply a fraction by a whole number.